Welcome everybody to Cheese in Depth. I'm Michael Landis, and today we have summer cocktails with some of my friends that we work together, and also we share cocktails when we meet, especially at the American Cheese Society when we get together. So I thought it would be appropriate to bring them here during the American Cheese Month, not only to share a cocktail and a cheese with them, but also to kind of talk a little bit about their first experience with the American Cheese Society. So I'm going to give a quick introduction to everybody. I'll start off with Amy.
Hey everybody, my name is Amy Spitznagel. I'm from Idyll Farms. We are a farmstead goat creamery up in Northport, Michigan.
Laurie.
Hi, I'm Laurie Baierl. I'm with Marieke Gouda.
Marieke.
So I'm Marieke, and I'm born and raised in the Netherlands, moved about 15 years ago to America, and here we are drinking cocktails with Michael and the rest of the awesome people here.
Michele Buster.
Hi, I'm privileged to be part of this because I guess I'm the square peg in the round hole. I'm Michele Buster with Forever Cheese, and I import cheeses from Italy, Spain, Portugal, and Croatia, but always up for a good time with great treats and cocktails.
Michelle H.
Nice to be with you. It's Michele Haram, technically challenged from Cypress Grove in California.
Trevor.
Hi, I'm Trevor Thomas. I'm the senior retail merchandiser and educator for Lactalis Deli, and I am based in Sacramento, California.
All right. So since this is the American Cheese Month, it's appropriate for us to talk a little bit about that, and especially our first experience, which is always very memorable at the American Cheese Society, the convention and also the awards. So I'm going to start off with Amy, and she'll tell us about her first experience.
Well, I don't really remember my first experience as much as I remember my second experience. I was kind of overwhelmed with the first time I went to Des Moines back in 2016. The previous years I've been sending our cheesemaker and not going myself because I was busy with my young children at home. But I finally went and my most memorable one was in 2017 in Denver, and we happened to win 7 ACS awards that evening, and it was just kind of overwhelming to be able to walk up to that stage and get those awards with our cheesemaker, and you know, being a small farmstead producer that we had just started making cheese. I think we were into our like 5th or 6th year of cheese making at that point. So we were really proud of our accomplishments, and that was really sticks out to me more than the first time I went because it was a blur. So that's my story.
Marieke or Laurie.
Well,
I'll let you go first.
Yeah. So we started making cheese. My very first batch of cheese I made on 22 November 2006. And we entered into a different competition, and we won right away our first award with our Marieke Gouda. So I got all pumped up, and I wanted to go to the next competition, and it was the ACS. And I looked through the regulations, and apparently the cheese had to be on the market for a year. Well, that was a bummer. So my first ACS, I didn't go because I was a little bit pissed because I couldn't enter my cheese. So the second then, that was in 2008, that was Chicago. We drove down there. We have 5 children, very young children at that point. So I found a babysitter, I had 2 crazy enough to watch 5 little kids in diapers. So we went to Chicago, so we had to go quick in and out. So I think we stayed there only one night. We were supposed to stay 2 nights, but then we ended up one because we got a little bit nervous with everything. But I remember we wanted to leave early, and some guy said, "No, you should stay." Yeah, well, we didn't thought we would win anything actually. And the guy says, no, just stay there for the award ceremony. So we ended up staying, and we got about 7 or 8 awards that night. And I remember, now you're all gonna think I'm cocky, because after the third or fourth award, I got so excited that I went back to my seat and I said to Ralph, "You're up for the next one. You can go and get the next one." And then I'm like, "Oh no, I don't even know if I win another one." So, but that was the first ACS. We never won so many awards at the ACS ever again. But we won a lot of, and then I got a tap on my shoulder from Metropolitan Markets on the West Coast that said, "We want your cheese." And I'm like, "We're in business." So it was very exciting. The ACS means still a lot after a little rough, bumpy road in the beginning that we weren't allowed to enter the first year. They made it our way. And it's such a great way to network and meet people. And yeah, and then a lot of memories that you don't want to share with everybody. But it's phenomenal.
So I've only been to one ACS. I've been with Marieke for 2 years, and last year, of course, was canceled. So 2019 was my first one. And my memorable experience is it's just overwhelming to be with so many people that are so passionate about cheese. And it's really fun and really easy to get caught up in the excitement of it. And of course, winning competitions always boosts sales, and I am the sales director, so we definitely like to reap the benefits of that aspect of ACS.
Michele Buster.
Well, if I actually go back to the first time I went to an ACS, it's kind of uncomfortable. I mean, I'm like going back to like 1993 when I really just got into this business. So going up all the way to Shelburne Farms, I was just starstruck. We had like one cheese. We didn't know much about the industry. We just knew that we had to figure out how to be in the best places. And my partner and I always said that it's not about whether we're talking about European cheese or American cheese. What's important is cheese and people's love for cheese, and that we all need to band together and do it together, because great cheese helps the industry and everybody there. So we went and supported as many as we could with all the hats that we did, from delivering to making to billing to whatever it was all just quick. And I saw all these people and these faces to all these like amazing shops and accounts that, I mean, I was just like trembling, you know, just starting out. And I went to the gym because I'm a gym rat crazy woman. And this guy, he kept talking to me. And I was like being at this point, like New York bound, you know, who's talking to me while I'm in the gym? You know, what it is, he just kept talking to me. He was pretty good looking too. But I'm like, no, you know, I've got my Italian and I've got to be there and I'm here for work. And I'm just like not being like super friendly. Then we get to this, and I didn't yet learn what the essence of ACS was all about. Then we went to the cocktail and I learned that the guy who was in the gym was one of the guys I had been dying to meet. He was like the store manager of one of like Sutton Place Gourmet. And I wanted to crawl under a rock. Like I had wanted to meet the guy that had the very best way, and I had to like just go up and swallow my pride and just say, hey, sorry before, I'm super nervous and all of this. And I just felt like, so there you are, embarrassed, bare my heart to you. I could have gone on more about like feeling like a pop star for bringing like the guy who made acetal and taught everybody about thistle flour making cheese, and everyone wanted to learn that, but I gave you my inner darkest, like super daunting first view of this amazing society, which has only continued to be just like the best feel organization amongst people. And I have to just say here, from what I've seen in American cheeses over these 27 years, it's outstanding, the quality. And I take my Bobby this out because I don't have a hat to take off to you. So thank you for that.
Michele Haram.
How do you follow that? My gosh. That's such an amazing story. My first ACS was in Louisville 2. And it was just, you know, I was a cheesemonger and completely starstruck, and just really, I was sitting on the stoop of some stairs outside somewhere, and Mariano Gonzalez and Sid Cook came up and sat on either side of me and started talking to me, and I was just like, what pinch me, what's happening here? This is the awesomest thing ever. And so I was hooked, and I never looked back. I just love the cheese world, the people that are in cheese world, and the fact that everybody cooperates, which was why ACS was founded, so that everybody across the country that was making cheese in small places could share that knowledge and, and learn how to make cheese better, so that we could all rising boats, right? Rising tides and all the boats and all that. So I'm very proud to be the secretary this year of ACS, and hope that everybody, I'll just do a little plug, hope everybody will join us for the virtual conference happening July 28th through the 30th. Come on in.
Wonderful. All right, Trevor.
How you doing, Michael? Good to see you. Hey, thanks for having me here. ACS first experience, a really memorable one for me. It was 1997. It was in Seattle, Washington, and it was the last trip that I could take. My wife was expecting our first and only daughter, and this was the last trip that I was going to get a chance to take. And I had never been to a conference before. I had worked my way up through the ranks, so starting as a deli clerk, and I was the newly appointed director of delis, and now I get a chance to go to Seattle, and I'd never been there before, and I got to meet some amazing people there. It was such a small event. I want to say there was only a couple hundred people there, but the classes I got to take a cheese making class with Ricky Carroll, and just some of the friendships that I made there are still carrying on today. And I just like to tag on to Michele Buster's comments about the cheese industry and seeing how much it's changed since first working behind that counter. It's just been amazing to see the quality of American cheeses grow over the years. I just remember California wines are something that used to be laughed at, that were always sold in a big gallon jug, and now California wines and California cheeses like Michele Haram's are just phenomenal. So I'm so glad to see how much it's grown over the years.
Let's go ahead and start off with our Friday night cocktails, and we're going to go back to Amy, and she's going to show us what cocktail and cheese she has.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Like I said, I'm from Idyll Farms, and we make a farm-fed goat cheese, and we have many different varieties. And the cheese I chose to focus on tonight is going to be our honey lavender Chevre, our very fresh style. And we have two forms of our honey lavender. We have our 4 ounce, which is kind of like a disc that is sliceable. And we also have a 5 ounce, which is a spreadable version. So either one would work with our pairings that I have today. The only difference between these are that our spreadable, we age for a couple days in a cheesecloth to drain. And our 4 ounce disc, which is sliceable, we drain in a cheese mold for about 4 days. And so the spreadable has a little more acidity to it. It's going to be a little bit more tangier. The vehicles for the cheese tonight, I chose a bunch of different options. I really like honey lavender with our goat cheese because of the citrus component to a goat cheese. So I kind of went with the lemon theme as well. I found little lemon cookies to put the spreadable, or you could put the sliceable Pastures on here. I found other little lemon cookie, little Italian waffle cookies, a honey chocolate, that's raw honey cacao chocolate. You can put the spreadable or the sliceable on there. Also, rosemary crackers, I think, work really well with our cheese, especially with the honey lavender, kind of keeping in the floral theme. And if you want to go gluten-free or anything, just a sliced apricot, stuffing a sliced apricot with our cheese. So those are the different cheeses. And so as far as pairing with a cocktail, I'm really going with the honey and the lavender theme. And there's a cocktail back from the Prohibition days in the Roaring 20s, and it's called the bee's knees. And the bee's knees was kind of a term for saying somebody's, oh, you're the bee's knees, like you are the best. And so they made this cocktail out of their bathtub gin. And because the gin, they wanted to cover up the smell of maybe a not so great quality bathtub gin, they added honey to it and a little bit of lemon. So it's a typical sour, what is called a sour drink. And it goes great with our cheese, obviously. Bees feed from the lavender flower. They feed from the pollen and the nectar from the lavender flower, and they make their honey. It all goes together. And we happen to have bees in our pastures. We are a pasture-based goat dairy. And so that's why we named our fresh cheeses Idyll Pastures, because we really want our customers to know that our pastures play a very important part of our cheese making process, and that we rotate our goats around the pastures. We use regenerative practices. We do keep bees in our pastures to help pollinate and improve our pastures as well. And I just feel like it's all coming back in this one little cheese here. To go on with our cocktail, like I said before, it is a gin-based cocktail. You could use vodka if you're not happy with gin. But what you do is you take some ice in a shaker and you add 1 ounce of fresh squeezed lemon, which I have pre-squeezed earlier. And then you're gonna do 1 ounce of a honey syrup. And the reason you use honey syrup is because if you try to use just a normal honey, it might like clog and have a big dollop and it won't separate the way you want it to. So what you do to make the syrup is you take a little bit of the honey, equal parts honey and hot water, and you mix it together. And then you take 1 ounce of it and pour it into the drink. And then the gin, I used a Bombay Sapphire. I used a nicer quality gin. It's not a bathtub gin. And you use a 2 ounce portion of the gin in your shaker. And then you just wanna, this is the scary part for me. I hope it doesn't go all over the place. I'm not a professional bartender. Take it up a little bit. And I did not have the coupe style glass that it's supposed to be served in, but this was the closest I could get. I think these glasses are from the 20s from my husband's grandma. So I just pour it in here. And you can pretend like you're from the Roaring 20s, and we actually are in the 20s. We're in 2021. I'm still waiting for it to be a roaring segment of the 20s. We're all in lockdown, but we can have our own fun at home with these cocktails, right? And if you have dried lavender flowers, you can kind of sprinkle it in or put a little sprig of lavender in. Garnish it with fresh lemon or dried lemon slices if you have it. And also, I found these at the store today. These are lavender bitters. If you want to get really fancy, you can try a little drop of this in it. If you just want to intensify a little bit. And we also have a lemon bitter, but I'm not going to put the lemon bitter. I think I have enough fresh squeezed lemon in there. And that is our cocktail for the evening. I hope you enjoy the bee's knees, and I hope you all are I think that you all can be the bee's knees if you drink this drink. Cheers.
Laurie and Marieke.
Yeah. Now, again, this is Laurie. This is Marieke. I'm gonna tell you first a little bit about our cheese. It does not come from this cow. This is just a wall print. Anyway, we have a farmstead Gouda. We make it right here on the farm. So that means that we have the cows right here on the farm where we also make the milk into cheese. So when the cows get milked, that milk goes straight through a pipeline under the ground into our cheese fat. That gives us also the opportunity to do a raw milk cheese because we feel comfortable. We have our own closed herd. I would say we have the circle complete on our farm. We are in control of how the cows are being treated, the quality of the milk, and how we make it into cheese. And that all ends up in Gouda. So we chose it's not only all Gouda, it's Gouda is all we do over here. So we are only focused on Gouda, but we do have different flavors. So one of the flavors that we're gonna sample today is the honey clover Gouda. Our herbs come from the Netherlands. We have a lot of herbs that are coming in from the Netherlands, and honey clover is also coming in from the Netherlands. And it gives a kind of a sweet, earthy tone to it. That's how I think. So our cheeses melt wonderful. Also the honey clover, you can shred it over things. You can eat it like this. So there's a lot of opportunity with all our Goudas. But today we're using our honey clover for our cocktail mix. Couple other things. So we are farmsteads. We are domestic. We're here in Wisconsin. We are an award-winning company. On top of that, and I promise you, we do not discriminate against all those handsome guys out there. But we are mainly run by females. Yeah, so I do feel like I'm discriminating right now. But in Wisconsin, we have about 2,600. Wisconsin is so far the only state that I know that requires a cheesemaker's license. And we have about 2,600 licensed cheesemakers, including myself. Out of the 2,600, there's only 60 female licensed cheesemakers over here. So, and out of that 60, we have 3 here in our company. When I started, Martha came and asked for a job. She used to milk at our farm, but I told Martha, I said, no, Martha, I'm just gonna make a little bit of cheese, you know, and had no idea how much work cheese making actually was. So she was very persistent. She came 3 times asking for a job. So then I finally gave in and said, okay, you're hired. Let's start Monday and we'll see what we'll give you to do. She's one of our head cheesemakers right now in the production room. And we have about 40 people here helping us making awesome Gouda. What did I forget so far?
No,
Anything so far? Yeah, okay. Well, you can always ask us questions too. We can info@mariekegouda.com and we'll answer any questions you might have. Laurie here is the bartender today, but I'm her assistant.
She's my assistant. I'm directing. So today we are making a mint mojito. So we are going to, the reason we chose this is a lot of times whiskey itself, neat, pairs very well with the Gouda cheese. And we thought we'll just take that one step further and see how our sweet kind of mint mojito pairs with our sweeter honey clover. And we think it's a pretty good match. One of the things that we've learned as we've been doing these different events that you really can't make any mistakes when you're pairing cocktails and cheese, wine and cheese, and beer and cheese. The best way to get better at it is keep trying it and trying different combinations. So that's kind of how we got to the point where we are today. So our mint mojito, we are going to start with our little shaker, Marieke. And you are going to add our simple syrup. So you can make your own simple syrup or you can buy it like we did. And you're gonna add 2 ounces, just this full one, of the simple syrup to our shaker. All the way to the top.
All the way to the top.
Yep, and pour it in the shaker without spilling. Okay, and then you're going to add some mint to it.
Do I shred it up or I just put the whole
throw it in
thing
there. A couple more. Okay, Then you need 1 lime. Oh, the full limes. Yep. Okay, and you want to roll the lime to kind of make it just so it's easier to squeeze the juice out of it.
Okay.
Okay, then cut it in half, and you're going to use a full lime, squeezing that juice right into your shaker. We're actually using a cheese knife to cut our lime.
Or did I? Oh,
No, it's fine. That's what I
okay.
have.
Okay, the whole thing.
Yep, just squeeze it all in there. As much as you can get in there.
Okay.
So you're actually adding about 2 ounces of lime juice. And I did cheat and measured it out before, so I know it's right.
Well, I did have the opportunity to try some, and it was really good before.
We always like to do a test run before these events. Okay. So while Marieke is squeezing that juice out of the lime, I'll show you our cheese board. So we took our cheese and we made just a cheese board. The honey clover pairs really well with fruits, especially apples. We don't have apples today, but we did use a Wisconsin product. It's a Potter's Cracker Apple Crisp, which goes really quite nicely with the honey clover cheese. And then we also accented it with some nuts and berries. Okay, so now you're going to take your little tool here and you kind of smash it, muddle it, probably this end.
See? Okay.
Okay. Good. Does that look mushed?
Yeah.
Good. Then add some ice, or I can add the ice. This is how well we work together.
Long I listen, right?
Okay, and then you're going to shake it. Okay, and then you are going to add almost this 2 ounces of the whiskey. We chose a Jameson Irish whiskey just because it's a little bit more budget friendly, but you can use any type of Irish whiskey for this. That's it.
Just a little bit?
Okay, a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay, shake it again. Okay, and then we are just using a rock glass. Okay, and you're gonna put this cute little thing on it, and you're gonna pour that into the
I
glass.
always wondered where that was for. So,
Yep,
okay.
hold it on there so it doesn't spill. Awesome, perfect. And then you can top it off with either a club soda. Well, you haven't leave enough room for a little bit of this. Club soda or tonic water, which one do you want?
I would like to do the club soda
Okay,
this
here you
time.
go. Perfect. And then you accent it with a lime and a mint sprig.
Awesome. Professional right now.
There. Well, did you guys know that Marieke used to bartend?
It doesn't
Back
look
in
like
the day.
it, but yeah. Let's say we drank a lot of beer, so we didn't have to do all these fancy things.
Back in Holland. There you go.
And I was only 15 when I had that job. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So that is the Irish Mojito. I'll try it. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. So we have one more Jameson whiskey drink, really easy one. And this bonus drink is because Laurie, me, thought we were making Irish meals. So we have a bonus drink. And this one is very easy. Just take your little copper mug, fill it up with ice. And this one you're going to add 2 ounces of the Jameson. Okay. And you're going to take the juice of a half a lime. I need a little bit more in
I
there.
really need more.
And you have to squeeze that in there. Perfect. And then you just top that off with 6 ounces of ginger beer. I like this one. I'm not even 100% sure how to say it. Bunnaber ginger beer. And the reason I like it is because it comes in the cute bottle with the pop top. And it just is fun. So you add about 6 ounces.
Plop, 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 plop.
Yeah. And then you add a mint spring and accent with the lime. And then
Okay.
I'd like you to try that one.
Okay. So what else? Just it?
Mint and lime. Yep, that's it. So this one's super easy. So, but extremely refreshing. There's all kinds of different mojitos that are mules and mojitos that you can make. And these are the 2 that we choose today to go with our honey clover cheese. Cheers.
Wonderful.
Oh, it's good.
Do you like it?
Oh, I love it. It's really good.
Thank you, guys. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. All right. So now we're going to turn it over to Michele Buster for her very simple but very effective cocktail.
That's me. So simple, I'm difficult. So today I have a new cheese for a couple of reasons. The cheese I brought and I wanted to talk about is Leonora A Fuego, which is a brand new goat cheese that we have just introduced, which is a soft ripened goat's milk cheese from Spain. And it's super creamy, lemony. It has a white mold rind. It's made by a real crazy guy. His name is Oscar. And this is perfect because Oscar always has a bota or one of those little like wine sacks. And he's always opening it up and taking a swig of it here and there. It doesn't matter if it's 8 in the morning or 8 at night or 4 in the morning, but he's always ready to have a drink. He and I were talking about doing some new cheeses. And in our industry, vegetable ash is frowned upon. It's just going to be a problem somewhere. We don't know because it's just a base of vegetable. But in any case, we can't really use it now. So I said, well, why don't we try and do something with pimentón, which is so typical in Spain. And he took the pimentón de la Vera, which comes from Western Spain, Extremadura, which is smoky in itself. And he combined it with a spice to have this wonderfully spicy rind mixed with the white mold penicillium. And then inside you have this gorgeous, unctuous, lemony, beautiful paste. Now, I have to be honest, this isn't what the cheese looks like when you go to get it out there. We're sold out of it. I couldn't find it anywhere. I'm waiting for it to come in. I mean, we all know that times have been really odd and weird, and it took off. And when it took off, we couldn't keep up fast enough. So I've created my own for us today. I went and I brought some Leonora. I happened to have some pimentón at home, decided to do a little rubbing, a little mixing. I mean, this is what we're doing today, right? It's mixing, mixologists doing things. And so I have to say I didn't do such a bad job. Not exactly the same as how it'll come in, but has the same effects. You still have the quality of smokiness. You have that little bit of spice. You have that unctuousness of the cheese and the extract and the dense, and it just really is almost perfect. It's just missing my favorite drink, which is tequila. Before we get to the tequila part, I decided to add a few things on the plate. Never leave home without your Marcona almonds, fried and salted. Beautiful, the Marcona, more like here. So rounder, softer, tanner. The queen of almonds, more delicate because the trees flower in February and not in March, more dangerous for them to be around because if they flower in February, there could be a freeze and it could kill them off. And every year that we go, there are less and less Marconas in the world because really farmers don't want to cultivate something that's not going to live because it's not going to pay their bills. The other fun thing I added was the Spanish cocktail because I'm thinking really for me, I would just do maybe like cheese in the cocktail, but we do need something maybe to offset the heat or not to get too happy too fast. And our Spanish cocktail mix, which comes in these things or in bulk or whatever, has these cool fried fava beans. It has chickpeas, which aren't too hard because we learned. That's dangerous. It has crunchy corn kernels, big and small. We can't call them corn nuts because Kraft has a trademark. So we actually call them Kikos with a QU. And then they have almonds too. But quite frankly, all the almonds have been picked out of this one. So that's going to be really fun to munch on. And by the way, if you're wondering what the heck this is, I thought it was appropriate because this is a gift from my Manchego producer a couple years ago. And all of my cool little shot glasses, they have mousse. The one with the tequila in it has a ram. I'm sorry, until I finish drinking it, I can't show you what it looks like right side up, but very, very cool. So everything is subjective. Whether you eat rinds is subjective. How you like your cocktails are subjective. And the truth is I like to drink my tequila neat. I like it to be reposado because it's softer, a little bit of barrel aged, not too much. I don't like anything that I drink to put my hair on the chest. And the only reason I'm adding something is, well, for two reasons. If when I use fresh squeezed grapefruit, if it's too delicious and I do a paloma, which is tequila and grapefruit, I drink it so fast, it's really dangerous. And in this exercise, we want to focus on the cheese and not just about like feeling happy and not paying attention to anything else after. And I'm a lightweight. I'm more of a lightweight after the pandemic because while a lot of people drank every day, I barely drank at all. So now it's like, I just like smell it and I get dizzy. So what I tend to do is you can take a piece of the peel and I don't like putting salt and I just rub my rind. And then depending on the amount, obviously I decided to use a fun little glass, so it's kind of hard. And my juicer broke. So, you know, I just really just put a little bit in here. And I've been sipping and tasting as everybody else has been doing their elaborate cocktails. For me, if it's anything more than 6 ingredients, I lose my focus. And I just get a little bit of spritiness with a very round buttery tequila. And when I mix it with the cheese, it's just like cream. And it just perfectly works. I've done a bunch of tequila and cheese events, and I think it's a great liquor to go with the cheeses. And just the cream and the butter and the density of the cheese offsets, you know, the little bit of like butterscotchy kind of little barrel aged here with just a little bit of a spritz from the grapefruit. Now, if you aren't so keen on just that, you can always get some grapefruit soda and top it up with a little bit of fizz or of course do your ice cube in the middle. But for me, I think all those years of living in Europe, I just really don't like things cold. I can't enjoy them. I can't taste them. So I'm just like this. So that's it. There's no other secret there. For me, the base is always just the ingredients and a great cheese. And really you can make anything go with it. So thanks for letting me share.
Thank you, Michele. That was fun, as always. I greatly appreciate you taking the time and keeping it as simple as that. All right. So our next cocktail will not be as simple, but that's the beauty of it. And let's turn it over to Michele Haram and see what you got for us.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks for having me. I have a great cocktail called the Fog Cutter, which is a tiki drink from the 1930s. And because I work for Cypress Grove, our most famous cheese, of course, is Humboldt Fog. So I just like the notion of a fog cutter to go with our brand new cheese, which I brought today, which is called Little Giant. And it's a new cheese from Cypress Grove. And isn't this box the most adorable thing? It is a little 4-ounce soft ripened goat cheese. Very popular format here today, soft ripened goat cheese. Very different from Humboldt Fog in that it is smooth and buttery and delicate, not as citrusy as a Humboldt Fog. It's got a less aggressive rind than Humboldt Fog because it's such a small cheese. We want it to get where it's going without dying an early death. And it's also really yeasty and mushroomy. And so it was 2 years in the making We don't come out with a new cheese all that often. Mary's been making cheese since 1983, as you probably all know, and she came up with Humboldt Fog in that sort of famous around cheese circles anyway, story of dreaming about it while she was on a plane coming home from France, where she went to go learn more about making cheese and was just thinking about the fog that runs into Humboldt every day from the marine layer, from where we are way up north in California. And so this cheese, when I thought about introducing this cheese with a cocktail, I was thinking, yeah, Humboldt Fog, but this will be the Humboldt Fog cutter, right? And it is so good, you guys. It is nice and mild and just super yummy. And look at this beautiful box. I know I said that, but it's such a precious box. All right, anyway. So my cocktail is the fog cutter, and there's about 150 ingredients in it. So I think Michael is going to write those down somewhere for everybody. Through the magic of television, I have some of this already in my shaker. I'm going to start with 2 ounces of rum in the single serve size, half an ounce of tequila in the family size, and a half an ounce of cognac in the lifetime. I'll never drink this in my lifetime size. And then, like the other cocktail and food snobs on this chat, I fresh squeezed my juices. It's 2 ounces of orange juice and half an ounce of lemon juice. Sorry, that's in there. And then there is also this lovely stuff called Orzat, which is a roasted almond, drink thing. You wouldn't drink it alone. It's really just made to be put into tiki drinks, as far as I can tell. I'm sure that the makers of this would have other uses in mind, but it makes an amazing Mai Tai. And the fog cutter is Trader Vic's second most famous drink behind the Mai Tai. And this orgeat syrup is really important to making it taste sweet and sultry, right? And then I think that's everything that goes into there. Some ice, of course. And this time I brought my personal size shaker, not the jumbo family size. And good for me, the lid stayed on this time. That's great. All kinds of great things happening over here. It's just like downtown. And once you shake that up, you're going to put it in your tiki glass, because I know you all have one at home. Oh, this cracks me up. Okay, so you have this beautiful drink, and my tiki glass is not clear, so you couldn't see, but if you were to be making this in a clear glass, you would take your little spoon, turn it upside down so that you could float some sherry on top. In my case, I'm just going to dump it in because you can't tell. So delicious. And I'm going to garnish it with an orange. The garisher, the better. A nice big slice of orange on my bare toothpick for California, and a little bit of mint, because why wouldn't you? And a nice bamboo looking straw, compostable like we like it. And let's see how I did. Y'all, when I think about that list of ingredients, rum, orange juice, lemon juice, cognac, gin, orgeat, and sherry, it sounds like it's going to be a challenge. But I got to tell you that this is super delicious. And the reason it goes so well with Little Giant is because Little Giant is nice and mild, but not so mild that it can't hold up to a nice, to a kind of a sweeter drink. And these two pair really nicely. You could also do, I mean, it's summer, right? We're talking about summer cocktails. That's why you need a tiki drink. You can also, and I do this all summer long, and I'm sure that everybody on this call does this all summer long, cheese board for dinner, right? All you need is a Little Giant, which goes with, and any selection of the rest of the cheeses that have been talked about today. Some of Michele Buster's beautiful Marcona Queen of Almonds, a little bit of fruit. Little Giant's particularly nice with some briny olives. Or if you want to go, if you just don't want to, I don't know, can you see that? Okay, or coming back at you. If you don't want to get in the kitchen and make dessert, one of those rustic bakery vanilla shortbreads with Little Giant is the perfect end to the perfect cocktail day.
Just so you know, I've been, eating and drinking along with you, and my cocktail is actually bourbon, but that's my choice of drinks at this point. So thank you. That was excellent as always, and I'm going to turn it over to Trevor now.
Hello, my friends. You talked about your drink of choice, and gin's always been a drink of my choice, but when you invited me to this event, I couldn't help but think about the last time we met. I mean, the last time we got together is just when COVID was about to shut down everybody's travels. That's where I last saw Michele as well, and we ended up having to fly home that day. But before we left town, we did talk about one of my favorite drinks, and that is a gin that is produced from Bar Hill. So if you're not familiar with Bar Hill, they started out in 2011 out in Hardwick, kind of near Greensboro up in Vermont. And it was a two-partner collaboration. So it was Todd, he was a lifelong beekeeper and was raising bees in the area. And it was Ryan, who was referred to himself as a fermentation enthusiast. And together, they worked together to create this beautiful product called Bar Hill Gin. It was named after the Bar Hill Nature Preserve in the area. And so this is not my lunch box. This is actually a little gift box that they sell it in, which is nice because it has their regular gin, which is just a beautiful gin. It's got these beautiful botanicals. And I love the fact that each bottle that they produce has a little bit of Todd's honey in that gin. So it takes a little edge off the bite of the gin. And but then they wanted to kick it up a notch. So they decided to take this award-winning gin, which had already, like in some of their first years, they were still producing it in just a small little 15-gallon copper still. They sent some of this into a Hong Kong and a New York spirit competition, and they walked home with a double gold and the best gin of the year award. So how can you beat that? But they did, in my book, is what they did was they built, they decided, hey, we got to do something different with our gin. So in addition to their Bar Hill, they made this one called Tomcat. And this is the one that let me turn the label around. This is the one that I found when I was down in the San Antonio area. And I was talking to the bartender and telling him how much I like gin. And he said, if you like gin, then you got to try this one. So they take their award-winning Bar Hill gin and they age it for 6 months in American oak barrels. And it's a bourbon barrel age casks. And I love the fact that they dip all the tops of the bottle in the beeswax honey. So when I got this call for this, I immediately thought of the cocktail first, and I'll get to the cheese in a minute here. So I'm just going to make a really simple, a gin old fashioned, right? So I'm going to start with 2 ounces of the gin, the Tomcat gin. I don't need to put this in a mixer, and I'll show you in a minute why. I'm gonna go with a 1/4 ounce of simple syrup, and I made mine because it's so much fun. Speaking of Michele Haram's drink, I made my own orgeat, which is very fun as well. I'm gonna go with just 2 shakes of, I love this one because it's an orange bitters that's already made up. So just a couple shakes in there. And then a little lemon twists, which I'm gonna rub on the edge of the glass because I love that. And the reason why I'm not gonna mix it is because I got the fancy glass that comes with the round ice maker so that I can twirl it around in my drink and mix it up at the same time. So this has those honey notes in there. It has like almost like a watered down bourbon flavor to it. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful drink. Now, what cheese to go with it? Well, I told you that my liquor of choice has always been gin. And a while back, one of my friends who's a cheesemonger, he got in a new cheese to the shop and he goes, Trevor, you got to try this. I know how much you like gin. And what he showed me was this guy right here, Deer Creek, the Blue Jay. This is a gold medal winning cheese that's made out of Sheboygan, Wisconsin. It's also an ACS award winner. And what they do is they add 5 10-gallon containers of cream to each batch of this. And I also love it, and I think it works so well with gin because it has whole juniper berries in it that have been lightly crushed. This is just a gorgeous cheese. It's so incredibly creamy. I'm gonna try it today with, I'm kind of a cheese purist. I'm like I'll use a cracker as a vehicle to enjoy cheese, but whenever I can not have a cracker, I try and enjoy that. I'm using a Rain Coast Crisp. It's got nice little bits of dried fruit in there. I think that it works really well with the cracker and the drink. So Michael Landis, this drink's for you. Thank you so much for inviting me. As I said, I'm a cheese purist, so gotta enjoy it. Gotta enjoy life. Thank you, my friend.
I appreciate everybody taking the time today, and these fabulous drinks, and of course the fabulous cheeses all the way through is exceptional. And I enjoyed not only your cheeses that you've sent in that I have here, but I also will love to try all of your cocktails. Trevor, I have a bottle of the Tomcat from our trip down in San Antonio when we were down there, and you got that. I immediately went out and I bought a bottle, and I enjoyed that as much as I enjoy my bourbon. So I want to say to everybody, cheers and thank you. Happy American Cheese Month, and I hope to see you and have a cocktail with you in the near future.
Well, thank you, Michael. It was awesome.
Thanks, Michael. Good to
You're
see you.
welcome. All right. You'll be able to view this on my YouTube channel, and there'll be more to come after this, another set of cheesemakers and, of course, cocktails coming at the end of the month. So thanks, everybody. Take care. Be very safe, and we'll see you soon. All right. Bye-bye.